AITA for opening my husband's safe with a crowbar to get money for an emergency? IF 31. I'm a Som with 2 kids. My husband dedicates most of his salary towards the kids and household, but has a safe that he puts money in on a monthly basis. I didn't make a fuss over it because he said that it saved money for an emergency. I asked for the password countless of times, but he refused to give it to me and said that in case of an emergency, all I needed to do was inform him. He went on a 2-day business trip. Our son got sick and I had to take him to the hospital. The problem is, he needed medication, but I didn't have any money except what was in the safe. I called my husband, but he didn't respond. I texted him explaining the situation, but he refused to cut his trip short and come home. I asked how I was supposed to get money for medication. He suggested I either A. wait for him till he get home, or B. borrow money from the neighbors. I just had it. I hung up and went to the garage to grab a crowbar, then took it to the safe and opened it. I took the money I needed, which was about $60, and went to the pharmacy store to get the medication. My husband came home a bit earlier, and when he saw what I'd done to the safe, he flipped out and started freaking out at me. I said I had no choice and all his suggestions were unreasonable and illogical for me to even consider. He yelled, saying I breached his trust and his boundaries and should have never touched the safe, much less use the crowbar on it. We had a big argument and he kept saying that I had no respect for him, his income and instructions. Then he completely refused to speak to me and is threatening to move the safe since he no longer trusts me around it. Was I in the wrong for the steps I took? Should I have tried another alternative? I didn't have any credit cards because he's the one that normally has them since they're in his name. I don't have a bank account to be able to own a credit card. This is called financial abuse, and I'm so sorry you're going through it hard and at all. NTA. This is financial abuse. He has put you in a very precarious situation. To be blunt, Som is a job that he benefits from, but you have no money of your own. The issue is a lot bigger than this one-off situation, and he is the off for putting you in this position in general. NTA. You do realize that the fact that he cares more about money in this supposed breach of trust than your son's health is highly concerning, right? This behavior is not normal. The fact that he left you with no money and you have access to no money is financial abuse. Let him move the safe all the way out of the house along with his sorry butt. I asked for the password countless of times, but he refused to give it to me and said that in case of an emergency, all I needed to do was inform him. You informed him, and he refused to provide access to the funds. He broke the agreement. All bets off after that. NTA. This is financial abuse and it's absolutely insane. Go to the neighbors and borrow money? Seriously? If my neighbor came to me and asked to borrow money because her husband left on a 2-day business trip and left her with no money, I'd call Adult Protective Services. I'd ask if she needed help getting to a women's shelter with her kids. It's 2022. Never mind the fact that as the working parent, he should have set up an account for you, the caregiver, with a few $100s for care expenses at all times. But like $60 for an extremely sick child? We live in an age of instant transfers and there's a huge big box of money in the home and he says, borrow it from the neighbors? NTA times infinity. You and your children are victims of abuse. You need to get out, my dear. Edit to add a link to the domestic violence hotline. www.thehotline.org. Thanks for the suggestion, Mambapoa 123. WTF? Borrow money from the neighbors instead of giving you access to household money? Unless you've got a serious history of money problems you're not mentioning, then there's no excuse here. NTA. Also, look up the definition of financial abuse. NTA. He's financially abusing you. NTA. And this looks like financial abuse. If you don't have enough money for basic costs without permission, something is drastically wrong. NTA. Your husband sounds abusive and also like. WTF is the point of putting cash money in a safe that anyone could open with a crowbar? It sounds like he's controlling the money in an unhealthy way. Is there a reason you had nothing to pay for the medication? Does he not let you have any money? ETA. NTA. And get out if you can. NTA. It's a bit rich that your husband is all on his high horse about respect. He feels he is owed. Right after he refused to help pay $60 for his own child's medication. NTA. But you're in an abusive and controlling relationship. Not all abuse is physical. There's financial abuse as well. NTA. The major problem in this scenario is you didn't even have $60 and you were alone with your kids. That isn't even a lot of money. The finances need to be rearranged if you are left with less than $100 when he goes on a trip. That's absurd. You should have your own savings with money. But also extra money should be left with you when he is not around. This is not a safe arrangement at all. I urge you to find an alternative to what is currently happening. NTA. That's super irresponsible of him. And definitely a tool to control you. Not to mention the fact that he left you with your kids with under $60. NTA. This is financial abuse. He left you alone with kids without $60 to spare. This is such an abusive situation. NTA. But it really makes no sense. You had no access to money at all. This is either fake or financial abuse. If it isn't fake, the amount of people thinking it is should clue you in to how absurd this situation is. NTA. And I'm very concerned that you are in a position where you have to crowbar a safe for a measly $60. It's scary that you are giving up complete control of your finances to be that dependent on someone. Please have a conversation about your finances. NTA. But there are several bright red flags here. He refuses to give you the password to the safe. He showed no concern when your son had to go to the hospital. You have no money of your own. This is all super controlling and not normal marriage behavior. NTA. Changes need to be made. You can't be left in the dark with no resource. Bearing no issues with drugs, gambling, HSN addiction. Then you need access to bank and savings accounts. Also start your own emergency fund. You'd never get into my safes with a crowbar. So, I can't imagine it was very secure. Your spouse needs to address his failure to provide for his family before you can tackle the breached safe. If he refuses, then he doesn't have his family's best interest at heart.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.